Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Archeos Society.
This is a new game published by Space Cowboys, designed by Paolo Mori.
It plays from 2 to 6 players in 60 minutes.
Yes, so Archeos Society. This was a review copy sent to us from Asmodee Nordics, just so you know that before we go into the rest of the stuff. Archeos Society is a re-implementation of Ethnos.
Yeah.
A game that we have played.
Once
We played it in Poland.
Yeah.
At a table.
Yes.
With people around it.
With people around it.
Yes, it was.
Including us.
Yes, we did. We were in the game.
We were there.
We were not just watching the game. We were actually playing it. But yeah, so if this is not. We're not like huge Ethnos fans or don't like Ethnos. This is not going to be like a comparison video. Probably other people have already done that. So you can go and check those out if you want to know more about the comparisons. We're going to briefly touch on like the big changes, but it's not going to be like this is in Ethnos and this is here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In Archeos Society, you are a society of archaeologists very abstractly trying to do expeditions, which is moving on tracks. It's a very straightforward game. You're going to draw cards into your hand and then you're going to play a set of cards which can either be one color or one type of character, because you're playing with 6 different characters in each game. When you play that set, you then get to move on one of the track depending on which color the set was, or like the leader of the expedition was, and then you also get to do like the special ability of the expedition leader. All the cards that you're not playing in that set, you have to discard to an open display that other people can take cards from, and that's basically the game. You're going to continue doing that until you see 3 of these monkeys. Not like in your head, but when you draw cards that have monkeys on them 3 times, then the game round is going to end. You're going to do some scoring, and you're going to do that 2 or 3 times depending on how many players you are. And after that, the player with the most points is the winner. You get points for being high on the tracks, and also you get points for having played large expeditions. And that is basically the game. It's
cool.
Pretty straightforward. You're saying cool like you haven't played it before, but,
yes.
but you actually have.
Yes, I have.
So, I'm going to ask you something.
Yeah.
Is there artwork in the game?
There is.
Is there components?
Yeah.
Can you talk about them?
Yes, I can. I think the artwork here is an upgrade from Ethnos.
Yes.
I didn't care for the artwork there.
I don't think many people did.
But this looks like an upgrade to me. And the artwork are mostly on the cards, and the iconography is pretty clear.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different abilities on the card, and you can mix them up quite a bit as well. So it's very, very important to have the iconography very clear, and I think they've accomplished that.
Yeah.
Some of the player tokens are their vehicles of some sort. They look a little weird,
Yes.
but that is just like nitpicking from me. Not the best quality and work there, but else it works perfectly fine.
That is true. Yeah, nothing a lot to say that. I'm going to give it 1.5, 1 thumb to the side, 1 thumb up in the air, something like that. That's my rating system for this video. The game also has a rulebook. You already saw it, kind of spoiler. It's a very short rulebook. It's 8 pages long. Ours is kind of only 6. Because 2 of the pages look like this. This is the worst printing error I have seen. I don't know if you see this, but it's like the worst printing error I have seen in a rulebook at all. But it's online, so I just read it online. Not really a problem. Very simple game. Like basically you could almost play it from the things I said in the overview. Like that is like 80% of the rules. It's a very straightforward game, and there's no player rates, but you don't need player rates.
No.
And all like what I like is this. This is something you need. All of the different abilities and all different abilities of the different locations are on the back of the rulebook. So that is pretty nice. So I'm going to give that rulebook 2 thumbs and a side thumb in the air.
Yeah, I think that works great because when you can change up the different abilities, you can't really have a player weight with the symbols on it. Because
you could have one with like all of them, but that
would be I wouldn't like that either.
You don't need that.
Playtime and player count. We have played this game with 2 and 4 players.
That's correct.
Our 2-player game has taken us 30 minutes.
It's a short game.
It's a pretty short game. And the 4-player game has taken us 1 hour and 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, so between 6 and 75 minutes for 4 players. I liked 4-player better.
I agree.
And What do you think is the reason?
I think that this is a game that really suits having a lot of interaction in it, and it's very much a push your luck game for me.
Yeah.
And that is much more interesting when you have 4 people drawing from that deck.
Yeah.
I think. What do you think?
I think because there's really not a lot of interaction in the game, and that is the only interaction, is the cards that you discard. When you're playing 2 players, there's less stuff happening with the cards, basically.
Yes.
So, like many games with 2 people that have like a row of cards or a deck of cards, it's more stale with 2 people than with 4 people, and that is basically the only reason, because other than that, there's really no interaction in the game.
Yeah.
So the game has some gameplay. Let's talk about that. The biggest change from Ethnos, because some people are like, this is people are thinking it's going to be a reprint of Ethnos, but it's more like a reimplementation, as we said in the beginning. The main change is that you had taken out all of the interaction, basically. Ethnos, even though we only played it once, it's an area control game, which obviously has interaction because you're fighting over these different areas. In this game, they're taking that away, and now you're moving on tracks. And there's like a couple other tracks, so like at least one, where you want to be first on the track and get a bonus, which is almost like area control, area majority. But other than that, you basically just move peacefully on the tracks, go on these expeditions peacefully, and everyone will get points. So it's a much less interactive game.
Yeah.
And now it's basically more luck of the like getting and pushing your luck and getting the things that you need to get going.
Yes, there is 2 main action that you can do.
Yes.
And they're very simple actions. It feels to me like Ticket to Ride.
It's
you
in the
either
same category.
take cards, like one card, or you can play cards. And I really like that because then you haven't got so many choices on your turn.
Yeah, I really like the fact, because this is like another tiny point of interaction, is that there's an open display of cards, and if that is empty, you can draw 2 cards on the top of the deck.
Yeah, that is cool.
So that's kind of like another interactive part. It's like, oh, there is 1 card there. I don't really want to take that because then I unlocks more cards for the other players. But then again, so then it's like a higher chance for them to get them, but also going to be more cards coming out again. So it's kind of like a balance there, but that's like another tiny point of interaction and an interesting decision in a very simple game.
I really love the mechanism where when you play a set of cards, everything that is not included in the set, you discard, and then they are available to all the other players. So you really want to have a great hand of cards, but everything that you're not playing is available to your opponents. That feels really that you can't really hoard a lot of cards.
Nope.
That is a very important mechanism in this game.
And that kind of bleeds into the game being a bit of a push your luck game with a lot of luck, because it's a push your luck and it's a luck. So it's a kind of heavy on the luck, because it's basically drawing cards and hoping you get the ones you want. But the pushing of your luck is very interesting, and you kind of said like there's 2 parts to the push your luck.
Yes, both drawing the cards to see if you can get a better hand, but also that you don't know exactly when the game is gonna end, because in the lower half of the deck, the 3 monkeys are hidden.
Sleeping and waiting.
So the more cards that you draw to get a better hand, the more chance it is to the game ending. So you don't know how, maybe you're not supposed to be waiting that long. Maybe you should just play things now when you got a chance.
The game also, which we have already touched on, has a lot of variability, because there are, I think, 12 different characters that you can play, and you're also always going to play 6 of them in each game. And also there are 6 different of these terrain boards, and one of them is going to be flipped each side to the kind of advanced version, which has different abilities than the other side, and more like involved abilities. And it does so that like there's some presets in the game, and also you can just make your own stuff and make your own kind of Archeos Society expeditions. But I like that. I enjoy that. In such a simple game, you can play it again and again and again with a lot of variability, and we're kind of going into like the weight and who is it for, because that's kind of the same thing. So what kind of weight would you say this game is?
I would say this is a light game.
Absolutely.
And I would say that it suits both families, but also people who enjoy locking games and also enjoys a fast-paced, light game.
I agree with you. I think that it has a lot of nice things. Like it's one of those games because the more luck you have in games, then whoever can win, basically. So it's even though you can play well and you can play bad in this game, but because the luck is high, it's gonna be one of those where it's great for families and lighter gamers because you can play with a new player and they don't feel like, oh, you're winning because you know so much about strategy games, which happens in a lot of the more heavy board games. Let's do some final thoughts.
Yes.
But before that, if you are here and you're watching this video and you're thinking, these people are kind of cool, well, I like them. I think they're nice, pleasant people, then you can help us out in a very big way if you haven't done so already. It's very simple for you and it's very helpful for us, and that is by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points when you click the subscribe button down there, so make sure to also click the bell button to get notifications every time we post a new video.
Yes, final thoughts. You want to begin?
Final thoughts time. I like this game. I think it's really fun for what it is, because it is very simple to grasp, but it is interesting enough to keep me at the table interested throughout the whole game. You're going through this stack of cards multiple times, so I think that is really cool, because you feel like you're starting over, but you don't reset on the track, so you get that push your luck tension a second time as well, or a third time. I enjoy that. I think that I prefer this over Ethnos. If you like more interaction and confrontational games, this is not for you. Go play Ethnos or some other game instead. This is, as you said, the only interaction is like when people play cards, discard them, and there's something else available. I enjoy the blend of mechanisms here. I think it's a solid game, a little above average for me. 6.5 is my rating for this game.
Cool. Archeos Society is a fun game. It's one of those. It's, for me, when I play it, it's not like my brain is not firing on all cylinders and being like, wow, this is so much fun. But it's an enjoyable time sharing it with people. We played it with my parents, for example, which was really nice because it was easy enough for them to grasp and we could play it a few times back to back. Couple of days we played that. And that is what this game does. It serves that purpose of getting to play it with people who don't want to play the heavy board games, bam, bam, that we many times enjoy to play. For me as well, I find it like it's fun for what it is. In this category, I don't know, but I enjoy this one is what I'm basically trying to say. And for me, it's going to be a 6.5 as well. We are in sync on this one, Archeos Society. And that is the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.